4 years ago, I was eating 2 pounds of beef a day, which comes out to 8 quarter-pound burger patties. But over the years, I've slowly tapered back, where now I'll have only 4 burger patties a day, or sometimes even only 2 quarter-pound burger patties a day, so half a pound of beef. And there's 3 big reasons why I've reduced how much beef I'm having, so we're going to cover that in today's video. But first, if you're new to the channel, my name's Lillie. I'm a certified nutrition health coach, and I'm on a mission to help people stop eating processed junk foods and start eating more single ingredient, real whole foods, as I believe the food that we fuel our bodies with directly impact our health and quality of life. And throughout this video, when I refer to beef, I mainly mean ground beef, as I will have steaks and brisket, chuck roast, and other cuts of beef, but 90% of the beef I eat is ground beef. But now the question is, why do I have beef daily in general? And, well, the short answer is, I have ground beef every day because I'm lazy. And cheap. Yeah, well, there's the truth. Cat's out of the bag on that one. Ground beef is incredibly nutrient dense. It is a great source of protein, healthy fats, vitamins, minerals. It's super simple to make. It takes me like 2 minutes to throw ground beef in a cast iron, mix it up, there we go. And it's affordable. What more do you need? When I have ground beef, it fills me up and keeps me full for long periods of time. I don't bloat when I eat it. I could have 2 pounds of beef and I wouldn't even bloat. It's very versatile, so I can make burger patties or meatballs. I've made a pizza out of ground beef before, taco bowls, all sorts of good stuff with ground beef. But like I said, I'm pretty lazy. So I mainly just make a plain bowl of ground beef and call it a day. I know some people, they have a lot of fun cooking and they enjoy baking and they like having all these different kinds of meals. I just look at food as like, okay, let's get it done, eat your food, move on to the next thing. So ground beef is just very simple and that works for me. And no, I'm not concerned that eating red meat every day is going to clog my arteries and give me a heart attack and cancer. Though, like I said, there are 3 main reasons why I have tapered back on how much beef I'm having. And so we're going to talk about that now. The first reason why I stopped having so much beef is because I think I was having too much protein. I know, I'm like the protein girl saying I had too much protein. Back when I was having 2 pounds of beef a day, that wasn't the only food I was having. I was also having eggs and milk and yogurt and other things on top of that 2 pounds of beef. And just from 2 pounds of beef a day, that's about 200 grams of protein right there, let alone the other foods I was having. So I'm 5 foot 2 inches tall, about 115 pounds. I was eating anywhere from 200 to 250 grams of protein daily, and well, I don't think that's necessary. When it comes to protein, I usually suggest clients to aim to eat 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of ideal body weight. Now, some people can have a little bit more, but for me, like I said, I'm 115 pounds. There's really no reason to be doubling my body weight in protein. I'm not trying to be like a bodybuilder or anything over here, so at a certain point, it's just not necessary, which this actually ties into the second reason why I've tapered back on how much beef I'm having, which is that by prioritizing so much beef, I'm thereby not having other foods that have different nutrient profiles. I'm going to put a chart on the screen with what nutrients I was getting by eating 2 pounds of beef a day. You can see some nutrients are in high amounts and others are quite low, like vitamin B1, folate, vitamin A, C, D, E, and K, as well as minerals, calcium, magnesium, manganese, and well, we'll have to talk about this copper one here soon. Now, I got these numbers off a website called Chronometer, which is a tool I use to plug and play different foods to see which nutrients they provide. Now, granted, these numbers are based off of the RDIs, the recommended daily intake of nutrients, which are the standard guidelines for the various amounts of nutrients that one would want to consume to maintain their health and to avoid deficiencies. Now, that said, I don't agree with all of the RDIs. I'm not trying to hit every single RDI recommendation. Some of these nutrients I think could be a little bit less depending on the person, and other nutrients I think should be a lot higher because again, these values are just to avoid deficiencies. These are not the values that someone would want to hit in order to have booming, vibrant health, which is what I want. So when it comes to eating a beef-only diet, and I don't mean eating any other animal other than just a cow, and I don't mean eating the entirety of the cow, I just mean having the meat of the cow, I would do a beef-only diet temporarily as an elimination diet, or if I was someone who had a lot of autoimmune conditions where I couldn't tolerate any other foods. But for myself, I would have a lot more confidence and peace of mind that I'm getting all of the vitamins and minerals I need by eating the entirety of the cow. So having the bones, making bone broth, having the dairy, the milk, the cheese, having the organs, because again, having 2 pounds of just ground beef wasn't giving me all the vitamins and minerals I need in the right amounts. I'll put a star next to the nutrients I was low in by just having so much beef. So on days where I have salmon, it helps with the vitamin B1, vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, and magnesium. When I have cheese, milk, and yogurt, those dairy products provide more vitamin A, vitamin D, and calcium. Liver helps with folate, vitamin A, and copper. Pork helps with vitamin B1, oysters help vitamin B1, magnesium, manganese, and we're going to circle back to this copper soon. So in general, I try to rotate my meats so that way I'm getting just different nutrient profiles. For example, I'll have chicken one day, then salmon, sardines, shrimp, oysters, lamb, bison, elk, pork, and so I like to have the whole Noah's Ark of animals. The third and most important reason why I cut back on how much beef I was having is related to how much iron is in red meat. When I got my blood work done, my ferritin, which ferritin is the storage form of iron, was a little bit elevated. My husband also eats a lot of red meat, and his ferritin levels were elevated as well, which having too much iron can lead to heart problems, liver issues, which both of us had slightly elevated liver enzymes. Too much iron can lead to hormonal imbalances, joint pain, even diabetes. I'll put a list on the screen with the potential negatives that can come from having too much iron in the body. So to reduce our iron levels, we can either donate blood, or have more copper, as copper can help metabolize iron, or have more calcium, as calcium can help chelate iron, or have less high iron rich foods, aka eat less red meat. Now before we continue on, if you're enjoying the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. I also want to thank today's sponsor of the video, Element Electrolytes, which this is a drink mix that I've had every day for the last several years that gives my body more sodium, magnesium, and potassium, which I think this drink mix helped my blood work in a positive way by keeping all of my electrolytes in the optimal range. There was one point where I struggled with having more eye twitching, and so I had more electrolytes, and this all went away, as electrolytes can help with, yes, eye twitching, muscle cramping, heart palpitations, fatigue, migraines, and so if you're looking for a clean ingredient electrolyte brand, I really like Element because they don't have any sugar or artificial ingredients, and they taste really good. You can use the link in the video description to get 8 free additional packets of all of Element's different flavors with any order, or you can get those 8 free additional packets of Element by going to the URL drinkelement.com/Lillie Kane. They also offer a money back guarantee, so if you try it and you don't like it, you can get your money back. Those elevated ferritin levels that I showed were coming from blood work that I got in July 2023, and I'm going to get updated blood work here in August 2024, and so we'll see how me having less beef impacted my ferritin levels and iron and liver enzymes and maybe cortisol. Okay, I genuinely love simplicity. To me, it is just a no-brainer to do things when it's easy and convenient and nutritious, and so I would love to have just tons of ground beef every day, but sometimes the easy thing isn't always the healthiest thing. So even though it's a little bit more inconvenient or more costly for me to have salmon and shrimp and oysters and other foods, I think it's the best thing for me to be doing for my long-term health. And some people are currently eating tons of red meat daily and it's working for them. Cool. I wouldn't start second guessing what I'm doing if something's working. My intention with these videos is never to confuse people or make people feel like they have to eat like me. My goal is just to share my experiences, what's working, what's not, the mistakes I've made, to hopefully prevent other people from making similar mistakes. I do work with clients one-on-one and see some of their blood work for those who are eating a very red meat heavy diet, and oftentimes their ferritin levels are elevated. Again, that doesn't mean they have to have less red meat. There's other options to reduce those ferritin levels, though at the same time, it's kind of like, you know, there could be a tipping point when having more red meat may not be as necessary. Like with most things, there's a point where having too much can do more harm than good. Having too much water at a certain point can become unhealthy. Having too much protein or too many eggs, there's usually always a point where having too much is too much. Again, I have beef every day, and I have tons of meat every day. It's just I don't have tons of red meat every day because I don't think it's as strategic or necessary for my health. If you'd like to talk more one-on-one on how to reach your health goals, how to create a meal plan that's going to help you live your most abundant life, there's a link in the video description to my coaching rates and services. And I hope you guys have a happy day. I'll see you in the next one.